Welcome back, everybody. It's Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. Born on this date in 1898, chemical engineer and inventor Waldo Seaman of Demopolis. He was prolific in acquiring patents, but his work was vital in plasticizing vinyl. Now, where would we be without PVC? In 1947, pro golfer Larry Nelson, who was born in Fort Payne and moved to the Atlanta area at a young age. He's won 3 majors. In 1964, former NFL linebacker and defensive end Tim Harris of Birmingham, and in 1974, former NBA All-Star Ben Wallace of Whitehall. It's National TV Dinner Day, and while a lot of these national days are silly or obscure, don't you think that this one's not culturally significant? Swanson was the big leader in frozen TV dinners. They came out in the 1950s, and the phrase TV dinner was dropped from marketing after a few short years, but it stuck with us nonetheless. Now it's hard to imagine a time before we all had microwaves, when people warmed up their frozen TV dinners in conventional ovens. At least that's what sources are telling me people did. I'm also led to believe that some took 30 to 45 minutes to be ready, nearly as long as it takes to make a real shepherd's pie, or actually get out and grill some pork chops. But as housewives moved into the workforce and took jobs that could be taxed, those few minutes that a frozen dinner saved became precious. And folks through the 70s kept gobbling down frozen dinners off their Mickey Mouse TV trays while watching Sanford and Son. There's an episode of The Andy Griffith Show in which Andy Taylor is fatefully being set up with Helen Crump and finds out that Helen doesn't cook anything beyond frozen dinners. Said Andy, "What's wrong with frozen dinners?" No, he didn't actually say that time, but he did say, "They're good. I like them," making us briefly question whether the entire series had been one big lie. Barney Fife restored our faith when he responded with a quick, "No, you don't." The microwave came into everybody's homes while I was a youngin', and it changed everything. You could get all your nourishment from hard corn dogs and burnt popcorn ready in a minute or two. Of course, we've evolved even more since then. Now a hungry man can enjoy a fairly solid American supper with one hungry man frozen meal or 6 lean cuisines. Happy TV Dinner Day, friends and neighbors. Today, let's talk about what Caroline Leavitt said about Birmingham, who's headlining Moon Pie over Mobile, and why today's state ranking might make your eyes roll a little bit. I'm Mike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama.
Comcast is committed to bringing access to the internet to all Americans, including rural communities across the country, like Sussex County, Delaware.
We were being left behind. Everybody around us seemed to have internet, but we did not. High-speed internet is one of those good things that we needed to help us move our farming, our small businesses, our recreation forward.
Learn more about how we're bringing our next-generation network to more people across the country at ComcastCorporation.com/investment in America.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt blamed City of Birmingham policies for its crime, reports AL.com's Howard Koplowitz. Now, Birmingham was just one of the Democrat-dominated cities in GOP-leaning states that Leavitt targeted during her daily briefing on Tuesday. The backdrop here is President Trump's use of National Guard as law enforcement in Washington, D.C. and Los Angeles, and his indications that he might use them elsewhere. Last month, California Governor Gavin Newsom called Alabama a top 3 murder state, the implication being that Trump was being political and targeting blue states over red states. So Tuesday's briefing included Leavitt calling out blue cities in those red states. When detailing policy she said has led to more crime on the streets, Leavitt called out a 2017 Birmingham City Council resolution that she said was, quote, committing to establish sanctuary policies, end quote. Now, in January 2017, the City Council passed that resolution in support of those in the country illegally, but not officially and legally declaring the city a sanctuary, which would have been against state law. And at the time, City Council President Jonathan Alston said the resolution was symbolic and not intending to set formal policy. Last year, of course, a record-breaking number of homicides took place in Birmingham. Killings are down so far this year. We now know who's headlining Moon Pie over Mobile this year, and 80s R&B fans are going to be pleased. AL.com's Lawrence Becker reports that it'll be funk rock band Morris Day and the Time. That's right. You might be doing the bird to ring in the new year 2026. They've been dropping the big mechanical moon pie to celebrate New Year's since 2008 in Mobile. This year, the Kids Zone will be open from 11 to 1 with bounce houses, crafts, moon pie things, and a second line march to watch an early moon pie drop. Nighttime events begin at 6:30. A decorated umbrella contest, music, the cutting of the world's largest edible moon pie, and a second line parade will all be taking place. And they're already counting down the seconds till go time on the website over at moonpieovermobile.com. Today's state ranking is one that really illustrates how some things are impossible to quantify. AL.com's Heather Gann reports that WalletHub recently published its happiest states in America list, and Alabama sits at 47. Now, this isn't just sour grapes because we're so low, I promise. But how do you figure what makes other people in another state happy? And the concept of happiness is similar to the concept of fairness. It's certainly a positive thing, but it's not perfectly achievable. An example of what I mean by that is you could have a perfect life, according to the data. Your day could be going well, but as soon as some guy cuts you off in traffic, your happiness is right out the window. Spend 2 minutes listening to TV political experts. Your happiness packs up and drives to the beach without you. Now, maybe we're really chasing things that bring us joy rather than happiness itself. If so, good for us. I live in Alabama because there are things and people here that bring me joy. Every day I get to cash that check. But am I happy right now as I record this? Nah, I'm all right. WalletHub did an admirable job of trying to find the happiness formula, even if there isn't one. It used 30 metrics that fell into one of 3 categories: emotional and physical well-being, work environment, and community and environment. Specific metrics include depression rates, sleep rates, life expectancy, commute times, employment rates, divorce rates, and weather. Alabama's lowest ranking in those 3 subcategories was in community and environment. Now, the only states that rated less happy than Alabama were Arkansas, Louisiana, and West Virginia. Even Mississippi did better than us on this ranking. The happiest state, according to the study, was Hawaii. Second was Maryland, followed by Nebraska and New Jersey. And aren't we all just trying to keep New Jersey happy? That was what we call in the business an inside joke. Thank y'all so much for listening to us. We're going to be back here in the morning. Until then, y'all come by and see what we're doing anytime you want to on the internet at AL.com.
For a limited time at McDonald's, get a Big Mac Extra Value Meal for $8. That means 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, and medium fries, and a drink. We may need to change that jingle.
Prices and participation may vary.